Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Adrienne Gilliard here with Sandra Bazan, and we're from the ELC's Inclusion Team, bringing you Behavior Bites Tidbits. As you know, for the month of June, we've been talking all about friendships. We spoke about relational aggression and the child that always says, I'm not your friend or you're not my friend. We also talked about the child who gets excluded. And just last week, we talked about the clingy classmate. So it only makes sense that we end the month of June out in our friendship series with the What About Me child. And this is the child that is in that very egocentric stage. This child is possessive about their things. They talk about their own thoughts, their own needs, and their own opinions, and rarely are they ever interested in anybody else's thoughts and opinions. So while it might be a little bit annoying at times, it is also natural behavior that occurs within the first stage of life. And Jean Piaget coined this term egocentrism. And his theory states that it is, perfectly normal and egocentrism is present in all children that are under the age of 7 years old. Children in this stage of development, they assume that others think, feel, see, and hear exactly as they do. So, and of course, they think that the world revolves around them. So we're going to take some time today and talk about strategies that we can support our children that are very egocentric. So Sandy, what do we do to support the what about me child?
Gotta love them, right? So first of all, I love that the Piaget gave up to the year of 7 because we deal up to the year of 5. So everybody under our umbrella, it is absolutely developmentally appropriate for that child to be all about themselves. That's the point, right? So it's always, it's developmentally appropriate at that age. So with that in mind, as educators, we have got to be patient because it is what it is. It's the right time for them to be that way. So it's our job to kind of open up their horizons and open up their eyes to, okay, there's more than just you involved here, right? So, but how do we do that? Because we all know that they are all about themselves. So what's the number one strategy? And I think the number one strategy right off the bat would be distraction. You would be surprised, like, squirrel, what, where? And then for that split second, they're like, oh, and they forget, right? And so that gives you like that split second to kind of either, maneuver them in a way that, it's conducive to them understanding that, oh, there are other people involved, or I don't know what the situation might have been, right? But distraction is huge. The other thing is, I mean, reading books is always really good. Just always talking, right? We're always talking, and we're always talking about, well, I love the way that makes you feel. How do you think that makes Tommy feel? And
Right.
so we had another series. We did the red and green thought bubbles. And if we go back to like that strategy, that is a great way to also teach, wait, my behaviors impact others, right? And so I'm now starting to make the connection of like, when I behave a certain way, it makes Miss Adrienne feel a certain way. And so now I'm starting to understand that there's a relation, and that's all it is. It's the understanding that there is a relationship between who and what I am and what I am doing and where I am in this world and those around me. Right. And so there's so many different skills. If you think about it, there's this sharing concept that we now have, like, is they're starting to understand, wait a minute, it is not easy to share because I want it. And so then what about me? Which is why we use the strategy of a timer. And so I know that the what about me child is anxious about getting that toy back. So I have to make sure that what about me child always ends up with that preferred, so that it becomes a positive experience. It's not
also
like
with jobs. Also, when you're giving out jobs, you're making this person the door holder and that other child's, well, what about me?
well,
Making
you
sure that
can
you have a
thrive.
job for.
Absolutely. And well, and presentation, right? And so it's like distraction. Well, I know that you were the door holder last week. You know who you can be? You could be my police the patrol in the back. You make sure everybody has eyes, just you can make things up as you go along, right?
Right.
But it's all about, empathy as well, understanding that it is not easy to be a little child and even understand that there's other people around. It doesn't register for them. So we as the adults, we've got to self-regulate first. We have to take that deep cleansing breath because it is hard to manage, right? Because it's always, what about you? Well, okay, but what about the 20 other children in my classroom, right? So these are the ways that you have to kind of coax them into understanding that there are other people around. So using those red and green strategies, that's a wonderful way to help them. And you can use it while you're reading a book, right? So teach them, how do you think that an action is happening in the book? How do you think that made the other person feel? Right. And so now they can assume another hat, right? So it's all role play, even making pretend that to be somebody else, like you be whatever, you be Sally, and Sally can pretend to be you, Adrian. And so now, oh, wait a minute. So now we're starting to understand that there are other perspectives out there, right? So patience, distraction, being really, really, really creative and having those moments where it is all about them.
Right.
Super important, because you cannot expect an all about me kid to just relinquish all of that. I mean, they should be concerned about what they're wanting. We don't want to extinguish that, right? We want them to self-advocate. We want them to verbalize their wants and needs, right?
Exactly. And another way we can do that is highlight the good things that they're doing.
I mean, be their cheerleader.
Absolutely.
Be their number one cheerleader and always catch them when they're doing something absolutely great. And then just kind of like steer them into that direction, like casually. It doesn't have to be so aggressive, it could be part of just everyday dialogue. Oh, what's your favorite color, Tommy? What, you like blue? Awesome. But you know what? I think Sally over there, she really likes orange. I like them both. And understanding that everybody has a turn and everybody has a chance, and having that kind of culture where that what about me child feels safe, because they know I'm going to get a turn, because Miss Sandy and Miss Adrian, they're super fair, and they've got this system where I get my space, I get my turn, I get to be in the spotlight when I need to be in the spotlight, right? And then it's just providing practice, and opportunities for them to not be all about them. So creating those activities where cooperative play is necessary. Maybe they can be in a construction team and one of them has to be a designer, the engineer or the architect, and then they help to put it together, and understanding that and it's okay to have differences of opinion, and it's okay that what about me child is just, if you think about it, just advocating for themselves without regard to everybody else.
Right.
So it's a good thing. We just have to kind of
channel it.
Because
they're doing it. They're doing exactly what is in their job descriptions for them to do at that age.
It is what about me.
And you said something really good earlier too, and pretty much you're setting an example, of what it all looks like.
Absolutely. And so talking about and that self-talk, being able to narrate my own thoughts and my own, I could say something like, oh man, I really want that last piece, that last cookie, but Miss Adrian didn't get any, and maybe it would make her feel better. Maybe she would like to share. Maybe I can make Adrian feel, oh, I got it. I'm gonna make Adrian feel real happy, and I'm gonna be super kind, and I'm gonna share my cookie, and I'm having that dialogue out loud or with that child that has a hard time relinquishing preferred items. Right. And so now I'm modeling it, and me and you, Adrian, we were in it together. And so now you're going to make a show and you're going to you made me so happy. Oh my gosh. And there's going to be this hug and this great, like show that we put on because I thought more outside of myself, you know, and how amazing that can feel, you know. So and to provide those opportunities for the kids just to practice,
Absolutely.
you know. And that's it. That's all I've got.
All right. Well, those are really, really good strategies, Sandy. And so the key takeaway is instead of seeing that this behavior is selfish, we can recognize that it is a developmental stage. We can support our children by acknowledging the perspectives of others and developing that empathy. So if you are still experiencing challenging behaviors in your classroom, you can always reach out to Debbie K on our warm line, where the number is 954-295-0672. If you have found this video and other videos of ours helpful, please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you back here next time.